Hello and welcome to another episode of What Travis Says. My name is Travis and today let's do something a little different. In Friday's video I said that this week I'm going to be doing 5 videos with multiple subjects just to see how it goes instead of picking one subject for one video. Also another change, as you may have noticed, the background is kind of back. From the last apartment that I did, similar TARDIS, similar shelves, different sort of things on the shelves, tinier TARDIS. This is a more sort of intimate shot. It's a little closer, so I figured miniature TARDIS. The lighting isn't 100% to where I want it, but that's because the entire room isn't completely set up yet, so the lights are in sort of strange positions at the moment. This isn't actually the wall that was there in the room. I actually built this wall and then painted it white and then painted it blue and then structured everything all together. I've had a very busy weekend. But enough about the wall, let's get into today's video. And the first topic I want to talk about today is that BBC America sort of accidentally leaked the synopsis for Twice Upon a Time, this year's Doctor Who Christmas special. As it turns out, the BBC America website posted the synopsis for the Christmas special along with the option to get it on Blu-ray as a pre-sale. And the reason everyone is clamoring about this accidental leak is because very soon after, the website pulled the synopsis. Somebody posted something they really weren't supposed to. So these are minor spoilers to Twice Upon a Time, nothing that wouldn't be on the back of a Blu-ray, but they're still a little spoilery. The episode will begin as Doctor Number 1 and Doctor Number 12 are both in the snow, both refusing to regenerate. The synopsis goes on to say that the 12th Doctor must face his past to decide his future, and that he will discover hope in his darkest hour. The synopsis also talks about a British Army captain, Mark Gatiss, who is seemingly destined to die, but he gets pulled into this doctory adventure. The synopsis concluded by saying that although this is marked as the end of an era, the Doctor's journey is just beginning. The regeneration, as we all know. So you might think, yeah, that's a pretty obvious synopsis. We knew most of this going into the Christmas special, especially since Capaldi has been trying to put off his regeneration this whole time. But the fact that the website pulled the synopsis means that they let out a little more information than they initially wanted to. But speaking of the Christmas special, where Peter Capaldi will regenerate into Jodie Whittaker, Benedict Cumberbatch is in the news for some very interesting comments. On the subject of the Doctor being played by a woman, Cumberbatch seemed all for it, saying, "It's an alien. Why can't it be a woman? Why can't it be any gender?" Which actually segued onto the topic of possibly having a female Sherlock, to which Cumberbatch said, "Why not? I don't care, Sherlockina, coming to you soon." Now I highly doubt that we will be getting a BBC produced female Sherlock series unless there's some sort of Fiona and Cake situation, which would be really trippy. But having a female-led Sherlock Holmes series wouldn't be that big of a stretch, especially since Eurus Holmes became the breakout character in season 4. Now when asked about the possibility of returning to a 5th season of Sherlock, Cumberbatch said that he may have been talking to the writers, and he may be interested in the possibility of returning. Now, moving on this episode of the pull list, DC actually has a Nightwing film in the works. Yes, really. It's surprising, not because DC films are kind of a jumbled mess right now, but because we haven't actually had any concrete Nightwing news at all until now. In an interview with Collider, director Chris McKay detailed some very important points about the Nightwing film. We will get to see Dick Grayson become Nightwing, probably in a Batman Year 1 coming-of-age sort of way. It's unlikely that we'll get to see Dick as Robin unless there are flashbacks implemented in the storytelling. Speaking of flashbacks though, his tragic past will be touched on in the film. For those of you unfamiliar with the story, when Dick Grayson was a child, him and his mother and father performed at the circus as the Flying Graysons. Their trapeze was sabotaged by criminals, Dick's parents were killed, Bruce Wayne adopted the orphan, and he became Robin. There will be real stunt work, hand-to-hand combat, acrobatics, and very little CG. So even though we don't have someone cast as the role of Nightwing just yet, that future actor will definitely have their endurance work cut out for them. I'm really looking forward to the Nightwing film. For a long time, it's looked as if we weren't getting a live-action Nightwing film, but it seems that that we're getting closer and closer as the months go on. Trending today, it looks as if Toys R Us may be filing for bankruptcy. Toys R Us, America's leading brick-and-mortar toy chain, has been struggling with debt for just over a decade. Filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy will allow Toys R Us to restructure $400 million in debt. It would then allow the company to rebuild as a more leaner organization. Dave Brandon, a turnaround artist, was named Chief Executive Officer by Toys R Us in 2015. He showed signs of progress in 2016 when the company showed its first signs of holiday growth in 4 years, but Brandon says that the problem is actually the debt. With the company not any closer to the black, Brandon stated that if Toys R Us didn't have the debt, they would be making $500 to $600 million in profit every year. If you're like me and you're a fan of Stranger Things, you'll be excited to know that the creators of the show, the Duffer Brothers, were talking about Stranger Things Season 2 during last night's Emmys. More specifically about how Eleven's character arc will be much different in Season 2 than it was in Season 1. For starters, she will be able to form more complete sentences, and she will have hair. But even more interesting and possibly alarming is that she will have to deal with her powers as she's going through adolescence. Which, as any fan of the X-Men will tell you, that is the most confusing and dangerous time for any superhuman with powers. It makes me wonder if her powers will be uncontrollable, if they will just be higher in intensity, or if she will gain new powers as she's going through puberty. Leave your thoughts and comments down below on any one of the stories that I talked about today, and if you have a subject or a topic that you want me to cover in this week's series of videos, let me know on Twitter, and let's try to fit some more stories into this week. Also, let me know how you like this format of videos. Sort of a work in progress. It's something very different than what I've ever done. Instead of focusing on one topic for an entire video, I touch on a couple topics for a little bit during the video. So let me know what you think. As always, my name is Travis. Thank you for listening to what I have to say, and you will see me tomorrow.